Good morning. My name is Helen Farrar, and I am your junior warden at St. Stephen's. By now, we're well into the month of October, so it will probably come as no real surprise that I will be addressing the idea of stewardship, the giving of your time, your talent, and your treasure to further the work and sense of community that we have provided at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church. From the time I was a little girl of 8 or 9, I was a seeker. And although I probably didn't have a name for it at the time, I knew there was something unnameable that I desperately longed for, something elusive that could touch the spirit of this 8-year-old child. My parents were not churchgoers, so my earliest experience with a Christian community was spotty at best. However, we were lucky enough to live right in the middle of our small southern town. Our house was located in a block sandwiched between the main street, cleverly named Front Street, and Second Street, which was more commonly called Church Street. Church Street was the more appropriate name, and it became abundantly clear why by walking to the end of my block toward that street. If I crossed Church Street, directly in front of me was the Baptist Church. If, however, I turned to the left, in that block, I would find the Methodist Church. And if I veered to the right, in that first block was the Episcopal Church, and one block further, the Catholic Church. Sunday mornings were routinely a short walk and a decision as to which turn to make. My early childhood, therefore, was very ecumenical. But by the time I was in my teens, I had pretty much narrowed it down to the Methodist and Episcopal options. I loved the youth group opportunities of the Methodist, but found peace and a maturing sense of spiritual fulfillment in the Episcopal environment. Plus, they had by far the best summer camp. But I'm digressing. In seriousness, I received so much as a child and young adult, valuable gifts, which at the time I had no idea would deeply impact my life. But it was never in my consciousness during that time that perhaps it was not all about receiving, but about offering those gifts to others as well. We are all familiar with 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. I'll be the first to admit it took me a while to put away my own personal childish things, to understand and speak as a fully mature Christian. And quite honestly, I'm not entirely there yet. But nevertheless, here goes. St. Stephen's Episcopal Church, Huntsville, Texas, needs you. Every single one of you. And yes, we do need your financial gifts, but now more than ever, we need you, your time and your talents to build back the momentum and truly return to where we were before the awful reality of these last 7 months. Our church has not let us down during these difficult times. And now that we are beginning to see a slow return to some normalcy, we must not fail our church. After all, if we fail the church, we fail ourselves because we are the church. Let's commit to be truly the church. Decide that as you walk down your own spiritual path, you are going to turn in the right direction.